Hello, loves, and welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. Although this Wake Up Wednesday is going to be pretty different than any other episodes you've seen this year. Normally, we're delivering consistent, professionally shot footage of high-driven content that's really aimed at helping you to learn coaching tools and techniques and take the stage. But I wanted to take a little bit of pause from that normal routine and just take some time to really connect with you deeply and intimately and talk about some real stuff that's going on in my life. I'm also sensing in all of the communities and the women that I'm working with that there is a deep sense of transition and a lot of truth and raw things happening that we're not having enough discussion about. So for the next couple weeks, I wanted to devote a few videos to just sitting down here in front of my computer with you and talking about a few things that are real and raw for me and some things I'm noticing with the women that I work with and serve. And also I have some pretty exciting announcements that I didn't want to just do in a blog, but I really wanted to share in a personal way with you. So today, my intention before logging on and filming this here with you and stepping into this space with you was really to think about having some personal connection and what's real. Just that question, what is real in my life right now? What are the challenges that are coming up? What's exciting and what am I learning? And I know that if you're here, you're either a woman that's watching, you're a woman that's in my class or in my mastermind right now. So you're in Mentor Masterclass or you're in the Sisterhood Mastermind. Maybe you're coming to the Captivate retreat this year. Maybe you're an alumni and we've worked together in the past. Or maybe you're someone who's been on my list for a while and we actually haven't personally connected. And there are others of you who I haven't got to work with personally but are on the list, and I see your comments on the blog or on Facebook and social media, and we've started to get to know each other that way. And I don't want this to be like every other episode where you kind of watch it and don't let me know that you're here. So oftentimes I see the views on YouTube, so I know there's hundreds of you watching, but I don't actually hear from you. I don't get any feedback on what you're thinking or feeling as you watch, or if these videos are supporting you. And I definitely don't get to hear enough about what comes up for you and why you're here. And that's my whole purpose. And that's what I really desire today, is for you to support me energetically, maybe verbally, maybe in person, through this change in my life, since you are here and a part of my energetic circle and inner circle, some of you. And I want to support you. I want to be aware of what's going on and get some feedback from you. So if you could step into an energy of commitment with me today around leaving a comment on the blog or writing me a personal email, or just let me know that you're here. This video, and then also if you could commit to just hanging out with me for a few weeks in a row, I'd love to know that you'll be back next Wednesday, as I'm going to have another video like this, and I want to have this month be some sacred space for us to really connect together. I'm also going to announce something pretty exciting in this video that I haven't shared with the world yet. Not as exciting as birthing a baby, but it is a big life change, and I'm going to be sharing that with you too, so just keep watching, and that will come up at some point during our chat. So please commit to that today and step into that knowing right now that you're going to reach out in some way, even if it is just to say, hey Jay, I was here thinking of you, or hey Jay, let me know what's going on for you and what comes up during this chat that we're going to have. So the question, what's real? What's going on in my life right now? I feel like I've been really engaged with the personal people that I trust most in my life, but hiding a little bit in my own kind of acknowledgement of all the changes that I'm going through, my own personal journey. Not as out in community as I have been in the past. I haven't been at many live events this year since I found out I was pregnant. I was heavily involved in masterminds and lots of groups and traveling last year, and that's definitely died down a little bit now. And this week is a really big change for my husband and I, because it's his first week being able to quit his job. This is something that we were working toward for years, I've been devoted to creating a business that is time and location free so that I could travel, so that I could make my own hours. And so ultimately we could start a family. And it was hard because Brent still had to commute into the city and was committed to this job, his 9-to-5 job. And so we were always trying to find what is his passion and how can we get him out of this job so that he feels secure enough to make the leap. And that happened. So his last day was officially last week, and this Monday was his first day home. And it was pretty awesome. Actually, I was joking because he got to just nap for the day, and he made a commitment. We do a new moon ceremony with our good friends Heather and Peter every new moon, and we set intentions. And his was just to enjoy Mondays to the fullest, because his whole life he's either had to go to school or work on a Monday, and this was the first time that he could wake up and kind of manage his own time. And he was outside bright and early doing work, being in nature that he loves, and then he was able to nap, and we had a beautiful day together, and we're getting used to this new routine now of him being home, which is an adjustment. Just before filming this video, he was watching TV in here because this is my new office, as I gave up my little office upstairs to make it into the nursery and turned this room, which used to be our TV room, into my office/TV room. And he was watching TV. I'm like, babe, I got to film the video. So we're working it out. We're going to figure out the boundaries and how we work together, but he'll get to work from home for the next 6 months. And then I'll tell you soon what's happening in January, the big change that's coming. The other thing that's real for me right now is this is my first week in my 3rd trimester of pregnancy. So I'm feeling pretty big. I'll show you. My bump is growing quite a bit. And I'm feeling like a stuffed sausage most of the time. It's pretty hot. It's hot here in Connecticut. And when you're pregnant, everything, you just feel hotter. So, but I'm feeling energized, and I'm feeling healthy, and I'm feeling great, other than feeling just really full and going through the changes in my body and dealing with my perception of my body, my fears about how it's changing. And that kind of leads me into what else is real is my whole, I'm going through an identity change. If you really study identities, or if you know coaching models really well, something we're working on in Mentor Masterclass with the ladies this month, this is the phase that can be called an identity crisis, actually. It doesn't feel like a crisis. It feels weird to call it something so intense. But actually, when I think about the day-to-day emotions or things I'm considering or going through, it is. It's a big change. What's happening is I'm going from a life that I've created and become really comfortable with who I am as Jeannine, the business owner. Jeannine, I adjusted into the identity change of being in relationship with my husband and being a wife. And now I'm stepping in, and I achieved so many, I lost you. There you are. I achieved so many dreams in the past few years that my identity at this point is something I'm so proud of and comfortable with, and almost like pinch me that this is my life. I've created a really successful business. I work with women that I have dreamed of working with and serving. I feel so excited about my job and the future of my position in my job and all of the new ideas that I have that will come. And I have a beautiful team. I feel really secure financially. My husband and I are in such a beautiful part of our relationship. The pregnancy has just brought out so much connection and communication, and him changing his job. It's like I'm so content and I feel so safe. And when you get that feeling like shit's about to hit the fan or life can't be so good, I'm going through that fear of everything is so great. I really want to hold on and attach to it. So surrender has been a really hard practice for me. And there's fear, like, I don't know what this new mommy role is going to be like. And so many women have different stories of what that change meant for them. And sometimes they sound really hard. And I go through fear when I feel into other people's stories. And the truth is, I'm going through a change. Even being pregnant has changed me. I'm a new person already. I've learned so much about my body and selflessness and surrender. And I know that in just a few months, I'm stepping into, again, another huge change, a new part of myself that I don't know yet. And our egos have a really hard time with that, because we go from, there's 4 stages of identity change, and identity crisis is the 3rd. That's when you realize that there's something about you that is going to change. You start to see what that new person is going to be, but you don't actually know it yet. And that's actually right where I am. And the other thing that's coming up is really real around that is that it's very easy when we're running our business behind a computer to become isolated, or to try to power through these identity changes on our own. And I've been really challenging myself to examine what are my beliefs about sisterhood, and how am I deepening in to my own sisterhood in this process, to my leadership, to my life, so that I don't just go on pause or resistance to what's happening, and I can still be present through all of the changes that are coming up, and still be active, and still be enjoying. Even though I'm going through a change, there's still so much about who I am right now that I can honor and celebrate and enjoy as I'm kind of embracing and surrendering to this change, which is really difficult. And the biggest thing that's come up around that is I was noticing that I had pulled back in sisterhood a little bit, because there were still some people around in my energy field that I didn't feel safe with, that I felt like I was having to take care of or prove myself to, or just made me feel like I couldn't be my full open heart, like I couldn't feel safe in their presence. And I had the idea that sisterhood means that you have to do that, that you have to put yourself out there, that you have to heal yourself and do whatever inner work you need to do to be there for any kind of woman that needs me. And I'm feeling more protective as I'm stepping into this new role and identity of becoming a mother, and balancing. And as my business has grown so much this year with so many more women in my programs, I have really taken the space to work with my own spiritual coaches and leaders to examine how can I protect my energy so that I can really give fully and have an open heart, but not be spread too thin and not be too raw, and be able to protect what is my soul and my mission, as well as this new little girl coming in the sacred space that I'll be creating with her. And that has meant really making some tough decisions and trusting my intuition, and forming a new way of relating to sisterhood, in that the best way I've been able to articulate it was inspired by a post I read by Danielle Laporte, where she says, gentle open heart, big fucking fence. And I've been really honoring having my big fucking fence put up, and being more discerning about where I'm devoting my time, how I'm devoting that time, how I expect other people to show up in my presence, and how I hold myself to show up for them. And by being more discerning and really letting go of some of the energies and people who are not supportive, whether it's family or friends or acquaintances, or just when I'm walking down the street, not being so open, it's helping me to actually be more open with the people who can hold me, and to not hide, and to come out and to surrender and to receive from those friends and those loved ones. And my requirement for coming behind my fence is pretty simple. Someone who's willing to be curious about life with me and about themselves. Someone else who has a gentle, open heart, who isn't blocked and stern and closed-hearted to me or themselves or the world. And 2 more things. People who respect themselves and their journey, and try to build an empowering relationship with themselves and their own stories, so that they can be authentic and present and take ownership. and someone who respects me and sees me for all the light qualities and the shadow qualities, so that they can love me in my lightness and my darkness, so that I'm not afraid to be fully myself, but know that I'm still loved and respected and held in high regard, no matter what it is I do. And so that's what's real for me right now. And I've been thinking about you ladies and what I know is true in our tribe. And if you're here, I know that you're either really stepping into your own leadership and birthing a business, and some of you are birthing a baby or trying to get to that point to birth a baby. And I've noticed that there's really distinct similarities as I've been going through this phase of the trimesters, and I want to kind of share it with you so you can reflect upon your journey. So birthing a business is very similar to birthing a baby. The first trimester comes and it's all about shock. Really, it's like adjusting to, can I really do this? What just happened? Am I really making these moves? And oftentimes it feels like leaping off a cliff. It did for me. We were surprised that we got pregnant. We weren't particularly trying, and we weren't not trying as well. But it was like wrapping my head around what's about to happen. What do I need to know? What do I need to learn? And you get a little bit sick, and you notice your own resistances, and you notice the things that are not working or serving you in your life and in your body. And it can be confusing and really shocking. And it's a time of adjustment. And it's a time of deep, gentle surrender where you really have to go inward and take care of yourself. So if you're birthing your business, there's so much you need to figure out about yourself and your inner blocks and your systems to work through so that you can really get the hang of what it's going to be like to be an entrepreneur. And when you're birthing a baby, it's the same thing. Your body, your hormones, everything's changing, and you can't just power through the way that you used to. You have to find a new feminine way. And that's the gift that you get with pregnancy that you don't get with business. You are called into your feminine whether you like it or not. You are called into your womb space, into your body, into surrender. You really have to learn cycles and rhythms and flow. And with your business, that has to be more of a conscious choice than it is something that just your body does. It's the gift of pregnancy is our bodies are set up and we are feminine beings. So it just does it for us, and our mind, we just have to get our mind on board. With our business, we actually have to consciously choose that feminine trust cycle and flow and initiate it through self-care and all of the things that you and I have been learning together and talking about on the blog and in the courses and in the mastermind. Then you move into second trimester and you actually start to get it a little bit. Your energy increases, your resources are around you, you have more of an idea of what you should be doing and how to handle it. Your hormones in pregnancy balance out, your resourcefulness in your business balances out, and you start to go into this feeling of, okay, I got this. I think I can integrate the lessons that I learned in the first trimester, start to apply them, and I can feel like more of myself in this endeavor. I can bring myself fully to it. And now the rest, I'm gonna project a little bit because I'm just starting third trimester, but this is what I think the rest looks like when it comes to pregnancy. And I do know this part of my business because I've went through the whole cycle and almost just started over. That's what we do. Once we birth it, a new idea comes, we start all over again and incubate it, and just the same process. So third trimester, I think this is the time when your fear starts to come up because it's the time you have to be seen. And when it comes to pregnancy, it's like now you have the belly, you look down, I see her, I feel her move. She's beginning to have a life of her own, and she's now living with me. And this is very much like our business. It starts to have a life of its own, and it's time that you're preparing to put it out in the world. And this is when all of the fears about the labor that it takes to put it out in the world comes up. And you start nesting, you start preparing, for your business, your systems, your structures, your team. You start putting together, what am I going to actually need to push this thing out? And when it comes to the baby, it's the same thing. I'm starting to prepare the home. I'm like having such a beautiful time putting my house together, organizing everything, ordering everything that I need, making sure my team is prepared with my business to handle it. And I'm having to step back from control and really look at, how do I take more space for myself? What is time? What are time excuses? What are my big goals and dreams? How do I want it to feel when this little human is out in the world, when this business is out in the world? And you have to make decisions and stick to them and honor your word, because now is the time. You know, for me, it's like I have a few months before the final phase, which is the birthing, to really get these things done with this state of where I am now. And that's where you are in third trimester of your business. You've really got to put your team together. You've got to get your systems in order and in place. And you've got to prepare yourself to work through the fear and the physical labor that it's going to take to put yourself out there in the world. And that takes lots of community support. And that's what I've been working on, is building that. And how do I step into my community and get support and not silently hold all these things that are going on, but talk about it, which is the purpose of this video and this connection this week for our Wake Up Wednesday. And finally, the fourth phase is you go through the labor process, you birth the baby or the business, and then it takes on a life of its own, and you nurture it, and you become, in the motherhood sense, what I'm learning is it's not about becoming selfless for me, which is what I hear. And I've started to, I was telling you earlier, the challenge I'm facing of those fears with my body or the identity change, what I'm learning is it's not about doing it the way other women do it. I can learn from other women, I can pull resources, but I can make my own story. I'm my own person. I can set my own intentions. I can bring my own power to working through the challenges. And it doesn't help me to feel into the ways other women do it and say that's how it has to be done, that's what I should do, or to feel into their fears or the way that it went for them and assume that that's what will happen to me. We have a conscious choice. We can be the driver of our lives and sit in the driver's seat. And that's how I'm kind of choosing to approach motherhood and prepare myself for it, to look at all the fears that I have coming up and to say, how am I going to handle these with my soul essence, with all of my being? And also let this baby have a life of her own and know that this is, that she has her own mission. She is her own soul. She has her own purpose. And your business is the same. It will have a life of its own. And while you are an intimate, deep part of it, your self-care, you have to disconnect in a way and make sure you're fully nurtured so that you can fully nurture that business to turn into what it's meant to be. And that's kind of how I'm viewing motherhood at this point. So I am new with this, obviously, and I haven't gotten there, and I don't know what it's going to be like. So I'm so open that many of this will change, and I'll go through lots of light and shadow with this. But I've begun to realize that birthing our business and our baby is pretty similar. And the big announcement that I have that I want to share before we close this video is that not only am I going through this identity change, but Brent and I have also been talking for years now about how we hate living in the freezing winters here, and that an ideal dream of ours would be able to have a warm winter home. And so the beautiful thing we've manifested together through lots of talking. On January 1st this last year, we sat down and created a vision board for our life and set some goals. And honestly, this wasn't something we did anything. There was no action step that we did to figure it out. I think it came from the power of our intentions. I'm pretty good and devoted to manifestation, law of attraction. I practice it deeply, personally, and in my business and in my life and with Brent. And his job just so happens to be one that will take us to Puerto Rico come January, and we'll live there 6 months a year. Doesn't have to be consecutive. We'll just be there 6 months a year. So we'll spend part of the winters, and then we'll get to be home and in our home and our space here for the warmer times and the seasons that we love and the holidays and things in between. So I'll have a brand new infant, and we'll be moving to a new place. It's not a different country, but it feels like it. So that's a huge change that's coming up too, that we're super excited about, and also that I'm really trying to prepare for. So more than ever in my life, I'm calling myself out of hiding, because as I move to a new place, step into motherhood, go through these transitions, I know that I don't want to be isolated. I want to be in connection. I want to be living out loud. I want to be being with the people that I love in person and eliminating the people that are not supportive of that, and eliminating the fears that are keeping me from having a fierce and open heart through all of this journey and all of these changes. And I know that you want and desire that too. And I know that if you don't want and desire it, I'm telling you, it's an antidote to help you get through your birthing process, whatever it is you're birthing, a new version of yourself, a baby, your business. You can't do it alone, and I won't let you do it alone. So please take this opportunity to step out and share with me where you're at and live out loud a little bit, as I promise to do that over the next few weeks. I have more to share with you next week. I'll do another intimate real talk video like this. I want to see you there. I want to hear from you. And I really want to discuss next time the deep balance of the masculine and the feminine, because there is a beautiful way that we go into the feminine flow and we forget how much the masculine can serve us, or the right way to balance it in. And I would love if you could support me in all that I shared, because this feels pretty raw, hard to do an episode like this. A lot of deep things coming up for me. I'm going to get even more intimate next week. I'd love if you would support me just by sharing and letting me know that you're here, so I know who I'm talking to, who's present, who's here this week, who will be here next week. And the other big thing that's coming up is, because I'm so devoted to sharing this special time in my life, I am putting on a huge performance. I'm in the process of writing a show. I've got a lineup of amazing speakers who are not just going to speak, but they're going to perform an artistic talent. They're going to sing, they're going to dance, they're going to read poems, they're going to play the ukulele, they're going to rap. I'm going to be singing. It's all going to be live and on stage. It's not an expensive event. The cost of the ticket is just to cover the venue. So that page may be live when we post this video on Wednesday. And if it's not, it will be live next week. And I'd love for you to consider showing up and enjoying this performance and this time. It's going to be a blessing way, an honoring of the transition that we go through when we birth. And we're going to do it in a really fun, entertaining way. And I want to get to see you and hug you and squeeze you live while I'm still in this time of my life before the baby comes. So please be on the lookout and think about coming to the theater and having just a day of entertainment. I'd love to see you in person. If I haven't seen you in a while, please come. If I haven't met you yet, I want to meet you. There's going to be other celebrity guest coaches, teachers, thought leaders, speakers who will be performing. It's going to be a beautiful networking event that doesn't feel like a networking event. It'll be comfortable and intimate and really fun. So I'll release that as soon as it's out. But before you do anything else, please just take some time to say hi in the comments below. Thanks for watching this week, and I look forward to more time with you like this in next week's Wake Up Wednesday episode. I'll talk to you soon, sister. I'll meet you in the comment section on the blog. And of course, we have our private Wake Up Wednesday Facebook Sisterhood group where we get into deeper discussion there. So if you haven't joined that yet, please join. All right, ladies. Practice not hiding this week. I will see you. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week.